What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. So we got Punch You in the Face by former FS1 host Cris Carter exposes fight with Skip Bayless live. As usual, family, I give my thoughts, perspective, and insight. Ask you guys' opinion, and we create conversation down in the comments below. So with no further ado, let's get straight into the video.
A number of years ago, I was on a show with Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. And
both of them?
Yeah, both of them, on their show.
Yeah.
I was working at ESPN doing NFL. I didn't know Skip personally, and I'm going to be honest with you. Skip Bayless is not one of my favorite people.
I can imagine.
Okay.
Man. So in today's video, we got to highlight Cris Carter coming out, revealing that he had checked Skip Bayless to his face to the point where he had stood up and he told Skip Bayless that he will punch him in the face, man.
Dang, bro, he got under your skin that bad that you sitting here giving threats, bro. That ain't never the way to go, bro. That solves nothing.
Get into that later in today's video, but before we get to that point, let's break everything down into context about Cris Carter and Skip Bayless' relationship.
Is it me or look at my man's face? Look.
Let's break everything down into context about.
Look at Cris Carter's face, bro. He looks sad already. My man's face automatically. I ain't never seen nobody's face that looks sad automatically, and they may not even be sad. Unless he was really sad. But his face, he just looked like he just give off that face expression of just looking sad. To the point where you always got to ask what mood this guy in. But if he got looking like that, can you imagine how Skip Bayless got under his skin? Just based off this man's face expression or face impression, the way his face is right now, bro.
Carter and Skip Bayless' relationship. So remember Cris Carter, he used to be on ESPN a lot. So Cris Carter and Skip Bayless, they got into it on ESPN a long time ago. Let's check that out right here.
Don't put too much yeast on that.
Inspire the whole football team.
No, you can't. No, you're wrong on that. He's not inspiring the whole football team.
No, you're wrong on that. You're wrong on. You're dead wrong on that one.
Well,
Dang, my man get passionate. You know them passionate sports talks? He's like, you're wrong on that. It's like the teacher going off on the student, right?
On the NFL field before, you never had.
I don't care. I know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean you don't care?
Okay. Okay. Did you lift the football team to a lot of wins? I don't know.
So me being on the NFL field and playing and being a starter and a premier player
And worthy of the Hall of Fame, by the way. But
and a Christian and a leader, my experience don't matter.
Okay. But you've dismissed him. You say he can't play in the league. You told me that
say that.
repeatedly. You said he's not a starter in the league.
That's not a starter. There's plenty of other players besides the starter. Okay, that's 6 weeks ago. You need to move on till today.
No, you need to move on. What does he do every fourth quarter?
You're right.
Game after game after game. They all say it.
Dang. Well, my man Skip totally discredited his whole accolades of just being in the NFL and being a player and being out there in the field and being able to see it from a player's lens. I mean, I would assume that's why he's viable enough to be on the show when he was on First Take. But my man got so passionate that he just like, me as an analyst, you're going to look at it from the outside lens. You're not right. Dang. Comment down below how y'all feel about that. Do y'all feel like Skip Bayless was wrong for totally discrediting a former NFL player like Cris Carter? Comment down below.
Inspired the whole, giving him any credit.
I did give him credit.
Okay, but you're saying don't give him so much credit.
So in other words, hold on. So if we don't believe, all right, he played the game. I certainly have never played football.
Into you laughing. You laughed the last time. What happened?
Wait a minute.
You ate it again and again and again.
Let me ask you a question.
How many times were you wrong, Cris Carter? How many times? 7 times.
I know I went to 8 Pro Bowls and played 16 years.
Yeah, and how many rings do you have?
I ain't got none. You got same amount as you.
No, I don't.
Same amount as you.
But
Have you moved at all on your opinion of Tim Tebow? Do you? I know you said that he's not a starter.
I need to see more of him.
So the reason why I want to highlight that is because Cris Carter revealed that after that, that's when he had checked Skip Bayless to his face and told him he'd punch him right in the face. Let's check out this clip right here.
A number of years ago, I was on a show with Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. And
both of them?
Yeah, both of them, on their show.
Yeah.
I was working at ESPN doing NFL. I would do Mike Greenberg after doing my NFL stuff, and then I would come on there because Stephen A. and I were friends. I didn't know Skip personally, and I'm going to be honest with you. Skip Bayless is not one of my favorite people.
I can imagine.
Okay. So I'm on there doing the show. I do the show and everything. And then all of a sudden, this is when the Tebow phenomenon was going on. And he was a huge Tim Tebow guy. You know, this guy is this,
I remember
this.
it.
Okay.
Oh.
So I come on there on a Monday, and, you know, we're trading barbs and everything. We go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I just level set it and was like, listen, if throwing the football is important in the NFL, Tim Tebow will never be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
So he got defensive, and then he came back and said, well, that's why you didn't win a Super Bowl. Okay.
So what'd you say?
Which got nothing to do with nothing.
Agreed.
We went to commercial break.
So you didn't say nothing before commercial. He just said his...
No.
Okay. Good man.
I took my earpiece out, and I told him, I'll never be on your show again.
Yeah.
And if you ever say anything like that to me again, I'll punch you right in the fucking face.
Good for you. That's why I like you.
Well, he had to, it seemed like he had to check him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Skip ego got to him a little bit where he just totally discredited the man. Do I condone anybody threatening anybody? No. I feel like Cris Carter shouldn't have had to threaten them. But at the end of the day, talking as men, even if they agree to disagree on Tim Tebow's situation. But it got personal to the point where it doesn't absolve Skip for not taking accountability for being wrong in this matter, because he just totally started getting personal and started coming at and personally attacking Cris Carter when the whole topic was Tim Tebow. And if he's just focused on knowing how to throw a football, then at the end of the day, he'll never be a starter, because it's more than just throwing a football. Quarterback players are definitely leaders. They orchestrate the offense, and they have a central role, right? That's why they get paid more than most of the players on the darn field. So, you know, I understand he had to check them as men, and he checked them off the record. He did look cool, calm, and collective during the segment. So I do give Cris Carter that. And not to get off topic, like I said, look at my man's eyes, though. Like, my man just look sad. Like, just look sad. You know what I'm saying? But that's just his face. I didn't even get off topic. But I feel like they're both was wrong from both ends. At the end of the day, you have to realize that Skip is entitled to how he want to feel and say. But at the end of the day, if he want to get all rowdy and whatever, then he just lost out on someone viable being on his show again. And that's his loss. You know what I'm saying? But like Cris Carter should have stayed, remain cool, calm, and collective. So I feel like they both was wrong on to a certain standpoint when it came to Cris Carter threatening him, or when it came to Skip Bayless discrediting him. That's my opinion. Comment down below your guys' perspective and insight, but that's how I'm looking at it.
Say.
He couldn't say anything because I got up. I'm off the set. Then the producers came. Hey, Cris, no, it's not necessary. Then the people came from the back. Stephen A was like, Cris, man, this is not. I was like, bro, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not doing nothing. I'll never be on another show. I won't be on this show ever again as long as he's on here.
Correct.
So then come 3 or 4 years later, he goes to Fox. Mm-hmm. I leave ESPN. The guy that was directing the show was hiring the people at Fox.
Okay.
So he's like, man, I know, man, y'all had a dust up. Do you have any problem with him? I said, I don't have no problem with him.
No.
I don't have no problem with him at all.
Me, I'm good.
No. Well, we talked to him. He doesn't have a problem with you. Why would he?
Yeah.
Why would he have a problem with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I had very little interaction with him when I went to Fox, but I knew that it's like playing in a card game that the deck is tricked up.
Mm.
Okay, so number one thing you should know about Skip Bayless and some of the programming, the way that it was done at ESPN and at Fox, I'm going to say this, that it's a form of wrestling.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, you know who going to win. You know who going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, it's predetermined. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And a lot of the arguments and everything are either predetermined or assigned.
You're going to win this one.
And everything.
So it's like skits in a way to create controversy to be controversial, so the viewer can stay engaged into the, into the segment that's having intense controversy in regards to whatever topic that may appease or be appealing to the audience. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it seems like. Interesting.
Planted in Skip and Stephen A's favor.
So that's Cris Carter revealing that he had checked Skip Bayless to his face. And I believe Cris Carter because remember, guys, we did a video a while ago about the producer on that show when Skip Bayless and Jalen Rose got into it.
Something went down on yesterday's show. If you watched it, you saw it, and you lived it. If not, you may have heard about it. We want to address it. In the course of a conversation about Russell Westbrook being a point guard, Jalen went in pretty hard on Skip's high school basketball stats. If you missed it, listen.
Picture this.
Skip do not like Russell Westbrook. Ever since OKC, he just never cared for him. He'll admit that. You know what I'm saying? He admits that to this day. I want to be honest.
The positions were only created so a novice could follow the game. Just because you're a power forward, that doesn't make you physical. Just because you're a shooting guard, that don't mean you can jack up threes. That's just
what were
a
you,
position.
Jalen? What were you?
What were you? Did you? Don't mean you can jack up threes. Forward, that doesn't make you physical. Just because you're a shooting guard, that don't mean you can jack up threes.
That is true.
That's
What were you, Jalen? What were you?
What were you? Did you?
What were you?
Did you average 1.4 points as a senior in high school?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so
He humbled them real quick. Shout out to Jalen Rose, man.
all of that Pistol Pete stuff, Water Pistol Pete Jr.
Okay, we'll address that later. We're going to.
Yeah, he said we'll address that later. He said, look, we're going to talk about that later. That ain't on the record right now. Humbled them in a classy way. Shout out to Jalen, man.
Don't ignore that. Did you play junior?
Yeah.
Did you play JV as a junior?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll follow
What were you?
Okay.
What were you? What was your position?
I had no position. I have
You
no
were
game.
a point guard.
I have no game.
You were a point guard.
I have no
Am I
game.
right?
Okay, and the reason why I'm highlighting that in today's video is because the co-host that was there, and between those two, he just came out and did an interview, and he has spoke about Skip Bayless banning Jalen Rose from ESPN because of that. That's crazy. Let's check out the clip of Skip Bayless, former co-host, exposing that information. Here's a clip right here.
But I do remember the show where, just in the context of having a conversation, Skip had mentioned to Jalen, what have you won? You know, you and I have won the same number of NBA championships or something along those lines. And I never like it when Skip would do that. And this particular day when he brought it up, Jalen had had enough and Skip was thunderstruck. And I was thunderstruck. I was just like, what's happening here? And so he started going into this story about how the coach's son also was the point guard. I knew that that was only going to end poorly. I knew it. I had some conversations with Jalen after the show. I had some conversations with Skip after the show. I'm trying to be the peacemaker. And I thought we were in a good place. And then I found out that this thing was about to go to a whole new level. But then came word that Skip was never... Jalen was never allowed to do another first take ever again. Like it was, you know, he was a banned guest. He was banished.
I mean, when at the end of the day, well, you had to show him, you had to lead, you had to make an example out of him and lead by example for him to fall the line and humble himself. And he like, oh, we'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? He ain't liking that, bruh. You're used to the one humiliating and belittling individuals. But to be for it, he met his match in a classy way, and now he like, bro, you ain't never getting on my show again. Come on, man. Don't dish. Let's call a spade for a spade. Don't dish out something you can't handle it when it come back, right?
And at that time, Skip had that kind of power on first take. Because again, the show was taken to heights we had never reached. And Skip was the guy that took us there. No question about it.
So that sounds about right because I continue to hear stories like this. I remember Gilbert Arenas' show on Gil's Arena. They were talking about the news of Skip Bayless being fired from FS1 Undisputed, and Kenyon Martin revealed that he was also banned as well by Skip Bayless. He said he was told to never come back on the show again, and he didn't even know what happened. Y'all get in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made this far in the video.
I just feel like, man,
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Catch
I feel like as a sports analysis, you cannot take things personal to the point where your whole platform is based on sports and also interviewing and getting the perspective of players that's actually in a position that have the credentials to give the valuable perspective that you may not have as you're on the outside as a sports analysis, journalist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's my take on it. Comment down below yours. I feel like Stephen A. now has the pull on First Take and all that. But I feel like his ego has led him down to destruction, has led him down a pathway to destruction where his own ego brought him down. And I'm not discrediting Skip Bayless because he's done some phenomenal things and putting a lot of people on, like Shannon Sharp and so forth. A lot of people on. You know, his work speaks for itself. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy my perspective, insight, and the little that I know. I hope I gave some type of valuable insight, which is important here because here we like to pour value into each other as a community, and I hope I can pour value into you. So with no further ado, family, peace.